Yo guys, what is up? Thank you for tuning in to the Mcubed podcast where we talk about money, movies, and marijuana. My name is Joshua Ramirez. I'm currently 21 years young and I'll be going over stocks and NFTs every Monday on this show. Now, a short disclaimer. I am not a financial advisor, nor do I claim to be one. Everything said here is for entertainment and educational purposes only. That being said, these are my opinions, so feel free to comment down below if you disagree with anything and let me know what you think. So a little bit about myself. I've been investing in the market now for 2 or 3 years. I was back in 2018, fresh out of high school, and I wanted to invest my money and make it grow. At the time, the most logical place for me was the stock market, but since then I've been able to go into many different markets, and one of those markets being the NFT space. And for those of you who haven't heard of NFTs, this market is fairly new. It's only been around since 2014 and it has recently been booming this past year, but more on that later. Now, every week I want to bring you guys fresh and new content that is aimed at everyone, from just getting started to those of you who have been in the markets for a while now. That being said, for the first episode, I want to give y'all a quick basic introduction to these markets. So, what is the stock market and how does it work? The stock market is a global network that doesn't trade goods or services, but rather trades securities. Now, securities are rights to financial assets, and when we talk about the stock market, we are buying and selling equity, which is a portion of ownership in a company. And why do these companies sell their shares? To put it simply, for money. These companies will sell their shares to raise capital, grow and expand their businesses. The most simple ways companies do this is by going public through an IPO or initial public offering. Companies will start selling a portion of their shares to public investors, and this is done through various exchanges, and it's where this global network comes into play. One of the largest exchanges, being the New York Stock Exchange, has been around since 1792, and it's where many big traditional companies like JP Morgan or ExxonMobil are traded. Another known exchange in the US is the NASDAQ, which was created back in 1971. And unlike the New York Stock Exchange, the NASDAQ does not have a physical location. All trading is done online electronically, and this is where we find big tech companies such as Apple or Facebook. Other exchanges around the world include the TSX in Canada, the LON in London, the JPX in Japan, and that's just to name a few. This allows shares to be traded all around the world, helping companies build and expand their growth. Typically, if you want to track the market, you can do so by looking at indices. Indices will measure the performance of many share prices and give you a nice clean number. The top indices in the US are the S&P 500 and the Dow Jones. And just like before, other countries have their own indices, like the FTSE 100 in London, the Nikkei index in Tokyo, and the Shanghai index in China. That's just to name a few. I hope this helped you understand the basics of the stock market and a little bit of how it works. Now let's transition over to the cryptocurrency world, where we will be talking about NFTs. As some of you may have heard, these virtual artworks are being sold for hundreds of thousands up to millions of dollars each day. Like a clip of LeBron James dunking sold for over $200,000, and just recently, Twitter founder CEO Jack Dorsey sold his first ever tweet for $2.9 million. So what makes these assets that only exist on the internet so valuable, and how can you get started? Well, before we can understand all of this, let's go over the basics. So what are NFTs? NFTs are non-fungible tokens. And before we can understand what all that means, we have to understand what fungible is. To put it simply, for something to be fungible, it means it can be traded or exchanged for one another in equal value. To break it down even more, the biggest and most basic fungible asset we all own is money. So now, what about non-fungible? More or less, it means that it is unique and can't be replaced with something else. Take your phone for example. If I asked you to trade phones with me and I had the same phone, the same color model, the same case even, I'm pretty sure you would say no. And why is that? Well, it's because you have your phone and I have my phone. It has a sentimental and personal value attached to them, and that's why they can't be traded like a one-to-one. This basic principle is why NFTs hold so much value. So again, NFTs are unique digital assets. They range anywhere from art, music, in-game items, and even music videos that are sold online through the blockchain. Now you may be asking yourself, if everything is done online, couldn't someone just download it, view it, or even screenshot it for free? And while the answer is yes, because NFTs have a unique authenticator, it allows the buyer to own the original item. Think about it as a deed to a house. It serves as proof of ownership. And in the cases of NFTs, digital bragging rights. You can think of it like the Mona Lisa, for example. Sure, you can go on Google and look at a picture of the Mona Lisa, screenshot it, put it on a screensaver on your phone, but it doesn't hold the same value as the original painting. So how do they work? NFTs exist on a blockchain, which is a public record that records all transactions ever made, that is maintained by thousands of computers around the world. Think of a blockchain like a bank that posts all its notifications, all its transactions online for everyone to see. So what are some projects that are popular out right now? One of the biggest known projects that has been gaining major popularity right now is NBA Top Shot, a project released by Dapper Labs. You may have heard of the NFT of LeBron James dunking, which recently sold for more than $200,000 on Top Shot. NBA Top Shot is a website that allows its users to buy NBA video clips through packs. The value is still set by the same laws as supply and demand. Another project is CryptoPunks. CryptoPunks is also known as the original NFT. It started off as an experiment released by Larva Labs back in June of 2017. The 8-bit style punks, all which have unique features, started to make a wave back in early 2021 when some of these NFTs were sold for millions of dollars, making them some of the world's most expensive NFTs. And remember when we said the law of supply and demand still stands? Well, there's only 10,000 of these CryptoPunks, each with its own unique personality and combination of distinctively random generated features. They were inspired by the London punk scene. And you may be asking yourself, where could I buy these NFTs? While some NFTs have their own marketplace, such as NBA Top Shot, others will be placed in a marketplace such as OpenSea, which is a website specifically catered to the NFT market. There you could find many artworks, music, domain names, virtual worlds, trading cards, collectibles, and so much more. I hope this helped you understand a little bit about the NFT space. In later videos, we'll be going more into depth through each of these topics. So again, my name is Joshua Ramirez, and I'll be going over stocks and NFTs every Monday.